This is our last video from the desert for a while. Up next are meetup games from Chicago and the Hustler Casino in Los Angeles. If you guys want to see those videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We don't waste any time though and immediately hop into the 2-5 game here at Agua Caliente, in for $2,000. First hand of the night, I look down at pocket jacks from the low jack. The $10 straddle's on, and naturally, I pop it up to $35. We get action from the small blind and the straddle position. They both put in the call. We're going 3 ways to a flop. The session is off to a good start when the flop comes ace, king, jack, bang, we flop bottom set. Lots of draws on board. Any queen or any 10 has a gutter to Broadway. 2 diamonds also have the flush draw, but the action checks over to me. I'm going to go for a $50 c-bet into the 2 other opponents. The small blind puts in the call. Straddler's done with the hand. He mucks his cards and he's out of the way. That leads to 5 of hearts to peel off on the turn. $210 out there, and the small blind checks it over to me for a second time. Obviously, I'm never checking behind here with all the aforementioned draws on the flop. So, do you guys prefer a small bet here or a big bet? Let's see what I do in the moment. With 210 out there, I elect to go for the big bet, nearly pot size, $190. Why? If he has ace queen or ace 10, he's definitely not folding. Ace jack, ace king as well. Any diamond draws will peel for 1 additional card. In the moment, it gets him to fold, so we're going to take down that $210 pot, up $120 on the session. We roll right away into the next hand, ace queen of spades. $10 straddles on, and I'm in the hijack. Under the gun calls the $10, actions on me, and I raise it up to $50. Only the under the gun finds a call, so going heads up in position to a flop, which comes 6-5-4 with 2 hearts. Under the gun checks the action over to me, and on these pretty connected boards where it doesn't really favor my range, I decide to check behind and see what the turn card brings in, which is definitely help for us. It comes the ace of diamonds. We don't have ace high anymore. Additionally, under the gun takes a weird line now and bets into us for $125. If I was in his shoes, I probably would just be checking my entire range over the pre-flop raiser. Ace of diamonds is going to connect pretty well with me, but he elects to go for a $125 turn bet here into the $117 pot. Pretty strange, but nothing for us to do. There's still some draws on board. Maybe he has hand like 6-7, pocket 10s through pocket kings, and he just wants to see where he's at. I've seen that happen before, so I toss in 5 green chips, and we're off to the river, which pairs the board. It comes the 4 of spades. Pretty good card because it removes some combos of pocket 4s. Now we can only have 1 combo of that. Additionally, a hand like top 2 pair on the flop. 5-6 now is counterfeited. We have aces and 4s, but he doesn't slow down, and he bets out for $275 into the $367 pot. Immediately, alarm bells are going off in my head. I think if he had a hand like 5-6, something we beat on the flop that got counterfeit, he'd probably go for a smaller bet. If that, maybe he'd check over to me. So when he bets out for $275, he's saying he has a nutted type hand or a bluff. I think it's more likely though that he does have a bluff instead of a nutted hand like 5-6s or maybe ace-5, ace-6, something of that nature. And I am at the top of my range here when I check the flop. I make a good hand on the turn, so for that reason, I pay him off for $275. Please, opponent, show us the good news here. And he's not in a good mood. He turns over ace-6 of clubs. We're not going to win that pot. In fact, he's going to scoop down that $917 pot. Had top pair on the flop with a backdoor club draw. Picked up 2 pair on the turn. That's good enough to beat old Wolfie here. And we're stuck $350 early on this session. Never fear, ace queen did not get the job done for us. We pick up ace king offsuit now, and I raise it up to $20 from under the gun. The player in the +2 position now 3-bets me to $60. Action folds back around to me. Do I flat call here and play a pot out of position, or do I go for the 4-bet to $225? Yes, that's what I decide to do. +2 is done with the hand. He mucks his cards. Power poker here. We're going to take it down with ace high, but I expect to be ahead of a large portion of his range there. I turn over the ace of clubs to keep him guessing, and we move on to the next hand. Looks like we just made an Oreo. We had ace queen, then ace king. What do we look down again? Ace queen offsuit with $1,700 in our stack. I'm in the big blind. The straddle's on, and there's 1 caller to the middle position. He decides to raise it up to $30, and there's 1 caller for the $30 bet. Action's back over to me. I'm stuck in the session. There's a lot of money out there. I have a good hand. What does that usually mean? I'm going to raise it up, play the side of aggression, and make it $135. If I just put in the call for $30, we're probably going to go 4 or 5 ways to the flop, so I really like my 3-bet here. Isolating opponent, maybe going heads up to a flop. Another pro of raising and 3-betting here is that if everybody folds, you're just going to take down the dead money. $80 in this pot coming my way. We're only stuck around $215 now in the session. Before we get back into the hands, I wanted to tell you about the sponsor for this video, Geologie. Geologie is a 9-time award-winning men's skincare company recognized in men's health. They created a simple and effective skincare routine customized just for you, with ingredients that are proven to work and designed for daily use. Now that I'm back from my road trip, I'm in between places and left all of my cosmetics in my storage unit in Los Angeles. So when they reached out to me to promote them, I said sure, since I needed to buy new stuff anyways. I've been using it every day this past week and I honestly love it. They sent me 2 of the everyday face wash, a morning face cream, a repairing night cream, and a nourishing eye cream, and they make it really easy for dinguses like myself to follow along with note cards reminding me what to use and when, and all the ingredients and benefits in each product. And they want to help you do the same. Skincare shouldn't feel like a gamble. You click the link below, take a 30-second diagnostic quiz, and with a few clicks, you tell them about your skin and your goals, and their team of dermatologists will design a regimen just for you that is shipped directly to your door. It's that simple. That's geologie.com, or just click the link down below and save 50% off on your 30-day trial. It's approaching 11 p.m. We look down at Queen 10 of diamonds. I'm in the small blind and there's a few limps to me. I raise it up to $35, looking to keep my range wide, and wide we are going to the flop. 3 people put in the call, going 4 ways to the flop. 145 out there and the board peels off pretty good for us. Queen 9-3 rainbow. We have top pair, we have some backdoor straight ideas. Actions on me into 3 other opponents. Do you guys go for the bet here, or do you check it in these multi-way pots? I think I do a good amount of betting, but in this moment I decided to check. If I had a hand like ace king, ace jack, jack 10, something of that nature, I'd probably check it into the field. So it's good to balance that checking range with some top pairs as well. Unfortunately, in this moment though, the action gets checked around, which brings the 6 of hearts on the turn. Not really sure what that brings in, and when no other opponents want to take a stab at this pot, I'm going to go for a $50 bet into the $145 pot. Player in the +1 now goes for the raise to $100. Does he have pocket 6s? That's pretty much all he's representing at this point. So when the action folds back around to me, I trade my 2 green chips for 1 black chip. That's a call, and we're off to the river. 345 out there, and the river gives us 2 pair. Additionally, it reduces his combos of pocket 6s to just 1. That's pretty good. It comes a 6 of clubs, and I check it over to +1. When he bets out $100 into the $345 pot, we're basically getting 4-1 on a call here. And like I said, I was worried about him picking up pocket 6s on the turn. When the 6 of clubs comes on the river, that's a great card for us to call down here. So I take a black chip and throw it into the middle. Unfortunately, it's like throwing it into the middle of the ocean. I'm never getting that chip back. He turns over pocket king, so our top pair is no good. Very interesting how he played this hand pre-flop and on the flop when I checked to him, but he got the maximum here from me, $545 coming his way, and we're stuck a whopping $635 early on the session. $1,400 now in our stack. We look down at ace king from the small blind. The $10 straddles on and there's 1 call over to me. I raise it up to $55. Nothing strange about this hand so far. Both players find a call. Good action here at Agua Caliente. We're going 3 ways to the flop. I put Mudkip on my cards to protect my cards from any accidental mucking, and it's a good thing I did. When the board comes king, king 10, bang, we flop 3 of a kind. In the rare times that you flop so strong, it's always important to think about if you should bet or check. In the moment, I just snap checked it over to middle position, but I think this is a pretty large mistake. If the opponent has a king, we want to get value. Queen, jack, ace, queen, ace, jack, any diamond draws, there's a ton of things to get value from. Maybe even a 10 would pay us off for a bet. I don't really like my check here, and that's exemplified when middle position and the straddle both check behind. We're going to go off to the turn still 3 ways. Lucky for us though, the turn comes a 6 of clubs. Doesn't really change anything, although if a diamond peeled off on the turn, I do have the redraw to the ace high diamond flush. So I bet out for $75, not really scared about getting raised. Obviously we have 3 of a kind, and it's like I just called out what the middle position was gonna do. He raises us up to $275. Straddle couldn't get out of the hand quicker. He mucks his cards, actions back over to me. Did my check on the flop induce a raise here from middle position? It's likely, but if he has a hand like queen jack, king queen, maybe some other strong hand, I could go for another raise here and just rip my entire stack all in. And in the moment, that's what I decide to do. $1,285. He's gonna have to pay if he wants to see the river and get to showdown. I think one thing I failed to realize is that I do have the ace of diamonds in my hand. That's a card I want middle position to have in his, meaning he would have a diamond flush draw to maybe pay us off with. Me ripping it into him here, he's probably only gonna call me with strong kings like king queen or king jack. Pocket 10s and pocket 6s might do the same. Me having the ace of diamonds eliminates him from having the ace high flush draw. I don't think any worse diamond draws are gonna call us here. Additionally, queen jack probably isn't gonna call us as well, so I think a call here on the turn, and then either leading into him on the river or going for a check call or a check jam on the river might be best. Fortunately, middle position mucks his cards, but we're gonna take down that $395 pot. I'm happy things are going in the right direction, and they continue to go so when we look down at pocket jacks here with 1900 in our stack, and I raise it up to $25. There's 2 callers over to the small blind who re-raises me now to $90, and under the gun puts in the call, actions back over to me. Almost $200 in the middle already, and we haven't even seen the flop. I have a strong hand like pocket jacks, but it's still pretty vulnerable, and if I go for the 4-bet here, it'll keep my range wide. Opponents could muck an ace king, ace queen type hand that could suck out on us on the flop, so I elect to go for the 4-bet for $450. If we get called, great. Our range is wide like I said. If they fold, we take down $200. It seems like a win-win situation. Middle position decides to call for less. He has $200 in his stack, and small blind now calls for less as well, $390. You always got to take note of the opponent's stacks when making these kinds of 4-bets. We're going 3 ways. Both other opponents are all in a $1,000 pot. We're off to the flop, which comes king high, king 3-5 with 2 spades. The opponent immediately in the small blind turns over ace king. That's no good for us. We're going to need to see a jack on the turn or the river. The 7 of clubs is no help, followed by the 8 of spades. We're going to lose it to the small blind. Middle position turns over 9-7 of hearts. That's the type of hand we wanted to call for 200, but when we're up against ace king, it's a good old-fashioned flip, and he's going to take down this flip and the $1,000 pot. We're back in the wrong direction, stuck $600. Pocket jacks were no good. How about the ladies? Pocket queens, and we look down at them from the under the gun position. I have $1,400 in my stack. I raise it up to $20, and the button puts in the call. Small blind now makes a move that's music to our ears. He raises us up to $50, and of course, you know, I'm not going to be flat calling here if I 4-bet with the jacks. I got a 4-bet with the queens here, $125. In hindsight, I probably could have made it much larger. 150 to 175 sounds about right. The button gets out of the way, and the small blind puts in the additional chips. We're going off heads up to a flop, which comes ace 10-4 all spades. We have the queen of spades in our hand. The small blind rips it all in for $700, and I think this is one of the few times that I might have been on tilt. I usually pride myself on not getting affected by prior hands. I just lost that flip in that last hand for $1,000, and now we pick up queens in an ace high board with a queen of spades. Probably should just be mucking this hand. Why? The opponent could be ripping it all in with a hand like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, and not wanting to see in another spade. But if he is ripping it all in with a draw, something that comes to mind is a hand that has a king of spades in it, in which we're not too far ahead of. So like I said, I might be on a little bit of tilt here, something that I'm not doing too often, but I stick in the $700, and I'm probably going to be behind here, and he confirms those suspicions when he turns over ace 10 for 2 pair. However, we could go runner here. Any spade would give us a better hand. A king or jacker on the turn would give us a gutter to Broadway. Come on, dealer, please bail us out here in this nearly $1,600 pot. The turn comes the 5 of clubs. That's a black card, but not the black card we wanted to see. And the river comes the jack of hearts. Would love to see that on the turn, but in that order and that combination means we're going to lose that nearly $1,600 pot, and we're stuck $1,400 on the session. We look into our pockets, find some additional money, and top up for $150 more. I look down at Jack 9 of clubs from the small blind. Few limps to me and I raise it up to $30, looking to chase these losses and trying to get my money back. Middle position and the hijack give me some action here. I appreciate that. We're going off 3 ways to a flop. 105 out there, and the flop gives us top pair, Jack 6 deuce with 2 spades. Getting real sick and tired of seeing all these spades on the board, so into 2 opponents here, I bet out for $50. 2 green chips, actions on middle position. He mucks his cards, but the hijack's not done just yet. He tosses in 50 bones, and we're off to the turn, which comes a 10 of diamonds. Not slowing down here, a lot of draws out there to get value from, maybe some worse jacks, so I bet out for 100 into the $205 pot. Hijack flicks in a black chip as well. That means we're seeing the 7 of diamonds on the river, $400 in the middle of the pot. Not really sure if I can get 3 streets from a worse hand here, so I like to check. Additionally, I like checking here because all the draws that missed by the river can fire off a bluff here, and I'm probably going to pick them off. If I'm calling queens in that last hand, you know I'm not folding top pair here, so I check it over to the hijack. She actually checks behind though and turns over king queen of spades. That's a hand that I was hoping would go for a bluff. I was snapping her off in my current state of mind, but I turn over my Jack 9 of clubs, $405 coming my way. A little consolation prize for the Wolf. We look down at pocket 3s in this next hand, and I raise it up to 20 from the +1 position, and there's 4 callers, so this is a recipe for a nice hand. If we can flop a 3 here, we might be able to double up and get back to even on the session. And flop a set we do. The flop comes Jack 8-3, bang, we flop a set of 3s. Additionally, it's a draw heavy board, 9-10, queen 10, 7-9. Any heart draws are probably going to pay us off for 1 if not 2 streets of value. $100 out there, and the action checks over to me. Naturally, I'm going to go for a bet here. I bet $50, hoping to get called in multiple spots, but just when the morale was going in an upwards direction, it plummets like the stock market or the crypto market these days, and everybody folds. How does that even happen? 2 hearts on the board, Jack 8 on the board, so much for people to call with, and yet I flop bottom set, unblocking all of that, and everybody folds. I'm only getting rewarded with that $100 pot, but it feels like a loss. I should have won a lot more. Wrapping up this session here with the last hand of the night, I look down at ace queen offsuit from the button. Onto the gun, pops it up to $40, and now the +1 min 3 bets to $80, actions back over to me. You know I'm going to go for the 4 bet here, 225 in the middle. Onto the gun, rips it all in for 300. And the +1 position calls. If you guys are a fan of Mariano's vlogs, you'll know he referenced a phrase called Figo. What the F is going on here? 3 people have a big interest in this pot here. We're going off 3 ways to the flop. 907 out there, and the flop comes Jack 9-5 all spades. That dang queen of spades in my hand, it's coming back to haunt me again. Am I gonna turn or river the flush in this hand? The +1 rips it all in now for $500. Everyone just wants to get their stack in there. Actions back over to me. I do have the backdoor draws, backdoor straight and the flush draw, but I'm not drawing to the nuts, so I make a wise decision here. That tilt has worn off and I muck my cards. I just have ace high here. Running out the rest of the hand, the opponent that ripped it on the flop all in for $500 shows king 10 of spades. He just casually flops the joint. He ends up scooping that $900 pot. That's going to wrap up the session for me. All right, you guys, reporting back with some bad news, but it is the reality of poker. We were on a huge heater on our road trip through Texas and Florida. But here, back in California, we were doing okay in that last video, but now we got into some trouble, got into the game for 2K, rebought for 150, out for 445, a net loss of 1705. That's how poker goes sometimes. I made some speculative calls there, but I think my queens with the queen of spade, we could have hit a spade. A couple of the other hands, we had some good chances as well. Gotta post this video for you guys so you don't think I only post my wins. As always, drop a like and subscribe on this video if you're new. Share it with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.